So we're gonna start off sitting up on the mat, and what I'd like you guys to do is start with your feet rather close to you. So you're gonna kind of crowd yourself a little bit to start off with, and then line your heels up with your sitting bones, and the ball is gonna go right between your knees, but just above the knee. So not at the kneecap, but just in the thigh area above the knee. And then just softly kind of melt your upper back over top of the ball and your knees so that you feel like your shoulder blades are kind of wide across the back, and your upper back is a little bit rounded. And what I want you to do is just relax your forearms on the tops of your knees. And let's just take some nice deep breaths into the rib cage. So we're going to try to breathe into that posterior lateral portion of our rib cage. So sending that inhalation across the back of the scapula there, your shoulder blades, as if you're kind of breathing into your side gills, your lungs. So take an exhale and just draw your belly button into your spine. And then as you inhale, try and inflate your upper back across your shoulder blades. And again, exhale, drawing the abdominals in. And then inhale and kind of filling your lungs up across the shoulder blades there. And just a few more times. And exhale, drawing the abdominals in. And big deep breath in. One more time. Now go ahead and release your upper spine into a nice tall position here. So you're going to sit up nice and tall. Find your sits bones and find a position where you don't feel a lot of gripping in your hip flexors. So if that means you need to send your feet further away from you so that you have this nice space there in the front of the hip joint, go ahead and do that. And have this feeling of like very little effort to sit up straight. So when you're here, it kind of forces you almost into this rounded position, but if you send your feet away from you, you'll find that you can sit up a little bit more easily. So sitting up nice and tall, resting the hands on the tops of the knees, and now still trying to take the breath on the inhale into the upper back across the shoulder blades, but focusing now as you exhale, drawing the belly button into the spine and growing taller. So inhale, drawing into that posterior lateral breath across the shoulder blades, and then exhale and feel the abdominal wall compressing inward, and inhale again, and think of yourself just growing taller, finding all of those stabilizing muscles, those postural muscles. We're not forcing an arch, we're just sitting up nice and tall. And one more time, and inhale, taking that breath into the lateral portion of the rib cage, and exhale, drawing the belly button in. And now we're going to reach the arms out in front. Take an inhale breath here, and then as you exhale, find a C curve in the low spine more so than the upper spine. So we're not going to kind of slump into the upper back. We're just going to keep a nice tall spine, but feel the abdominal wall hugging in and rounding the low back. You can scoot your feet in a little closer if you want, or leave them where they are. And then as you inhale, I want you to lift the arms up, look up towards the ceiling, and then bring the arms out to the sides. Exhale, find that C curve again. Inhale, reach up, look up, and then exhale, sweep the arms around and take it into that lifted C curve. 3 more. Inhale, reach up, look up, stretch up, and then exhale and find that C curve. 2 more. Inhale, reach up, and exhale. And last one, inhale, lift, and exhale, reach. Now hold that C curve. Feel that shape that you've created, and feel that still that sense of liftedness into that shape. You're going to keep the shape of the spine exactly the same, but you're going to allow the hip flexor joint to start to lengthen so that you take that whole C shape back a little bit. Hold there at the bottom, take an inhale breath, and then exhale. Think of growing even taller as you come up through that C shape, and then lift the arms, inhale, exhale, sweep around and take it back. Inhale, pause. Exhale, draw in deeply into that C shape. Lift up, reach up, inhale, and exhale, take it back. 2 more times. Curl back. We're gonna go a little deeper each time. And coming up, and lift, and reach, and out and around. This time go back even further, but not quite to the floor. Hold there. Inhale and exhale, curling up, reach up, look up, and last one, we're going to take it almost all the way down, almost all the way, almost all the way. Pause there as if you were going to do a set of hundreds. Glide the heels in a little closer to you, or a lot closer to you, and then go ahead and lie down. I lost my mat, so I'm going to come back. So now you're lying down on your mat. Your heels are lined up with your sitting bones. Your knees are in line with your hips, and the ball is still between the inner thighs. So hands are going to come rest by your sides. We're going to rotate the palms up so that the shoulders feel like they open and the chest feels like it opens, but still keep that upper back connected to the mat. So try not to arch the upper back off the chest. Keep the upper back, the shoulder blades connected to the mat, but have your shoulder joint in external rotation and your palms supinated. So from here, we're going to start with some pelvic curls. So you're going to rock your tailbone towards the floor. So you arch your lower back, and then exhale and rock the pelvis back towards you. Let's just do some pelvic tilts first. So you're going to inhale, rock the pelvis away, and all the while you're engaging the inner thighs to squeeze the ball very gently. You're not squeezing the life out of it like you're trying to pop it, but you're feeling this sense of the tops of the inner thighs working to squeeze the ball gently, and even more so feeling the pelvic floor and the abdominal engagement that's connected there to the inner thighs, that midline connection. Now we're going to curl back and continue peeling the spinal column off the floor, one vertebra at a time, rolling the spine up, holding at the top. Really feel that nice broad open sense of the chest and shoulders, and then holding the hips here. Think about really getting the skeleton. Feel the bones of the spine just start to sink back down to the floor, nice and heavy. Visualize each one of those vertebrae coming down onto the floor. Very little muscular effort, just thinking of the bones. So now we're going to curl the pelvis back, peeling the spine up, one vertebra at a time, articulating through that spinal flexion, pausing at the top. Inhale, hold, and then exhale and curl back down, all the way back down. Nice. Good job. Inhale, hold here, and exhale. Draw the abdominals in and really feel like you're using your abs. You're using your abs. You're still using your abs. You're still using the abs, and then keep going, keep going, keep going, and then your backs of your legs will start to kind of turn on right about there. Inhale, hold at the top, and then exhale and roll back down. Let's do one more like that. Big deep breath in at the bottom. Exhale, find the abdominals to take that pelvis into that posterior tilt, and then peeling each vertebra up one at a time. Now we're going to hold here at the top and just gently squeeze that ball a little, I should say a little less gently now. You've already been squeezing it gently. Now you're going to engage it a little bit more to fire up those inner thighs. So feeling that squeeze and then a release, turning it into a little bit more of an oval and then release. And again, it's coming more from the tops of the inner thighs than it is just the kneecaps. So really think about that whole inner thigh line working. 2 more, squeeze, and 1 more, squeeze and hold. Inhale here, and then exhale and curl back down. Slide your feet in just a couple of inches closer to you if you can. So your heels are almost right underneath, or kind of, you could almost touch them if you had long enough arms. My arms are not long enough, but you're gonna inhale again, exhale, curl back up. And when you get to the top, I want you to orient your pelvis into a posterior tilt. So a lot of times when we lift up high, we go up and we kind of come more from our low backs. I want you to drop a little bit and think about the effort being more in the backs of the legs so that the pelvis is going to tuck under and the abdominals are going to stay very engaged. Now we're going to lift the heels up, and then imagine that I stuck a wet tennis ball underneath each one of your heels. And I want you to squeeze the water out of the tennis ball by actively squeezing your heels to the ground. Press, 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 as if you've got something to push down against, and feel the backs of the legs light up even more. Take an inhale breath here, and then exhale and come back down. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Take a big deep breath in, and exhale. We're waking up the hip extensors. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting around a lot and my hip flexors feel super tight. And the best way to release the hip flexors is to work the hip extensors. So that's your glutes and hamstrings. So we're gonna now lift the heels back up, lift the hips a little higher, but think of really tucking the tail under, and not just because you squeezed here, but because you also engage the abdominals more. And now actively push, 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 push down through your heels and feel your feet really connect to the floor, almost like a gecko, kind of like suction cup to the floor. Take an inhale breath here, and then exhale and curl back down. And let's go 1 more time. Big deep breath in. You should start to feel like your legs are starting to talk to you a little bit, starting to wake up. I know mine are. Hold here and lift your heels up. Lift the hips a little higher. Draw the pelvis into that posterior tilt. And then press, 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 press through your heels, press through your heels, press through your heels. Now hold. Now we're going to hold this position in space. Put more emphasis on your left leg. So your left leg is going to be more weighted and more energetic. And you're going to lift your right heel and then float your right leg up off the floor. Hold it there and squeeze into the ball 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set that foot down. Take a big deep breath in and place more effort on the right leg as you float the left leg up, and press in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set the foot down. Take an inhale, reestablish the height of the pelvis if you lost it, and then go ahead and just let that spinal column sink, sink, sink back down. And release the pelvis back into a nice neutral position. We're going to take the arms up towards the ceiling, turn the palms to face one another, and then open the arms out to the sides of the room. Nice broad open chest. We're going to float the legs up into tabletop. I know all of you guys, so I don't really need to say this, but if for some reason, you know, your body doesn't feel good and you want to do this with your feet on the floor, you can absolutely do your supine spine twist with your feet on the floor. But otherwise, we've got our legs up into tabletop. Gentle squeeze on the ball. Shins are parallel to the ceiling. And taking both knees over to the right, inhaling. And then exhale and come back through center. And inhale, both knees over to the left. Keeping that right shoulder anchored to the floor. And then use your obliques on the right to come back to center. Inhale, over to the right, twisting from the waistline. And then exhale, coming back through center. Inhale, over to the left. keeping that shoulder down. So we don't want to do this. So keep that shoulder down and then exhale back through center. And inhale, twist. And exhale, center. And last time to the left. And back through center. Go ahead and hold there. We're going to take the ball into the hands and then place it between the ankles. If you can, try and hold the ball straight up over your hips. If that's not working, you can absolutely do this with bent legs, okay? It's just a little awkward. So otherwise, the legs are straight above the hips. We're gonna find an internal rotation of the femur heads. So you're kind of going into more of a pigeon toe feeling, and then you're gonna externally rotate and give a little squeeze. And internally rotate those femurs, and externally rotate and squeeze. And internally rotate and externally rotate. And 3 more. Internally and externally. Just kind of almost like you're, I don't know, like screwing in and unscrewing a light bulb with your femur heads. And let's do 1 more since I'm too busy yapping. Now hold that external rotation there. And let's bend the knees for just a second. Hug the knees into the chest, give you guys a little break. Take the legs back up. Hold that external rotation. And we're gonna do a little mini corkscrew. So we're gonna take the legs over to the right, just a few degrees, and then come down and around like you're drawing a happy face and back to center. Now to the left, inhale, down and around, really, really, really small motion. And inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Let's go 1 more in each direction. Inhale, and exhale, and last one, and around. Go ahead and bring the legs in. And hug them into your chest. You're gonna leave the ball between the ankles. I'm kind of losing mine, so I'm gonna reposition it for a second. And we're gonna come up for our hundreds. So hugging the knees in towards the chest. Take an inhale breath, and then on your exhale, float your head and chest up, coming into that nice chest lift position. And then either leave your legs in tabletop or extend them out to wherever your position is for your hundreds. Let's do them in turnout today with a little squeeze. I'm having a hard time with this ball. And then let's go ahead from here and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 10. Exhale 2, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 20. I'm gonna come and check your guys' form. And 30, those of you I can see. Good. 40. And 50, boy, I wish I could hear you guys breathing. And 60, you look good. 70, and 80, hi Vicky. And 90, you look gorgeous. Last 10, hold, hold, hold. Stay there, don't die on me, just hold. Bring your knees in towards your chest, hug them in. And then you're going to take the feet and tip them down to the floor and extend your legs out. So the ball will now be between your ankles. And you've got a couple of different options here for your roll-ups. You can either leave the ball between the ankles like it is. You can just ignore the ball and pretend like it doesn't exist. Or if you want to challenge yourself, you can place your feet on top of the ball. So it adds a little element of balance as well as a challenge because your legs are elevated. So if you've got like rock star roll-ups, and roll-ups are one of your favorite easy exercises, do it with the feet on top of the ball. But if you know you struggle with roll-ups, I wouldn't do that. I would leave your feet on the ground, okay? So we're gonna take your arms back overhead. Imprint your spine into the floor, Draw the abdominals in strongly, or I wouldn't say strongly, just engage them. And then bring the arms up, head up, look forward, and curl the rest of the way, rolling up. Now, find that lifted C curve here. Challenge yourself to not just be here, but really lift. Inhale, and then exhale, and curl back down, rolling down all the way. Let's do 5 of these. So inhale, coming up through chest lift, pause, and exhale, curl the rest of the way. Lift into that C curve. Inhale, and exhale, curl back down. One vertebra at a time, all the way back down. And inhale, coming up through that chest lift, curl up. And pause. Inhale and exhale, curl down. Gorgeous. Ooh, I got lots of feet on the ball. You guys might find that it's actually easier for you. I don't know. I find it harder, but we're all a little different. Good. Let's do one more. So everybody do one more. So we go inhale and then exhale, coming up, 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 curling up off of the floor. Find that lifted C curve, so really engage and lift the spine, and then exhale, curl back down, one vertebra at a time. Nice. Now, place your left leg on the ball, just like where it is at the ankle, and bring your right knee in towards your chest. Hug that right knee in, and just relax your ankle. You can make some nice little ankle circles, circling around. And then extend your right leg towards the ceiling. Beautiful. So you're gonna leave your left leg on the ball, balancing it there, right under the crook of your ankle, and your right leg is towards the ceiling. Flex that foot, release your hands to the side. You might feel that having the hands out a little wider helps you stabilize and balance a little bit more. So if you want more challenge, bring your hands in. You can even have your hands up in the air if you want. That's going to make it a lot harder. So we're going to go across the midline of the body, inhale, and then circling around. And then exhale for your next circle. And inhale for a circle, and exhale for a circle. Nice big sweeping motion of the hip joint with a nice stable pelvis. And inhaling around and exhaling around. Let's go one more with each breath. Inhale for a circle and exhale for a circle. Now pause at the top and reverse. Inhaling around and then exhaling and inhale and exhale. And let's do one more with each breath. Inhale for a circle and then exhale for a circle. Point the foot, bend the knee, and hug that knee in. Change legs. So right leg goes on the ball now. Left leg comes in towards your chest. Circle your ankle around and release it. Extend that left leg to the ceiling. Right leg is reaching out long with a pointed foot. Left leg is flexed at the ankle. And let's go leg circles. Inhale for a circle. And then exhale for a circle. Inhaling around. Exhaling around. Keeping that pelvis nice and quiet and still in space. Inhaling. And then exhaling. One more with each breath. Inhale. And then exhale. Beautiful. Pause at the top. Hold there. Now reverse it. Inhale for a circle, going to the outside, sweeping around. And then exhale. Gorgeous. Good, you guys. Let's do one more with each breath. Good. Now take the ball and draw it in towards you and pick it up any way you can, as gracefully as possible. And then meet me back in tabletop with the legs. The ball is going to be in your hands now. We're going to do a little abdominal series. So single leg stretch, double leg stretch, and then hamstring pull one, but a little different than how we normally do it. So using the ball, we're going to kind of think about the ball as being something that we can really use as a form of resistance. So first thing we're going to do is have you place the ball against the tops of your knees, your thighs, flat palms, and then I want you to just draw your lower abs in and push the ball in, or push your knees into the ball as you push the ball into your knees, and feel that sense of really kind of deepening the engagement there of the abdominals. So let's do that a couple more times. So we're just activating, just pushing in, pushing against, and release. And exhale, drawing in. So I'm not really doing like this big tuck with my pelvis. I'm just engaging my hip flexors, my iliopsoas, and I'm just pushing and finding a sense of isometric contraction. So it's like when you do this and you just push and your biceps and your pecs engage, you're just doing the same thing here. So there's no actual change in the movement. I'm just engaging against that sense of internal resistance there, if that makes any sense. Now you're going to lift the head and chest up. So if you want to leave your head down, you absolutely can, and just keep doing what you've been doing. But if you want to increase the challenge, lift your chest up. Your elbows are relaxed out to the sides. And then I want you to just press your palms into your ball and push your knees into the ball, and then release. And exhale, press and release. 2 more. Deep isometric contraction and press. Now, we're going to keep that sense of almost as if we have this like something that we're pushing against all the time. So as your arms and legs reach away, don't lose that sense of as your knees pull back in, feel like the ball is here and you're pushing against it. Reach, and then draw in, press. And 2 more. We're going to just work really deep, not very many, and press. And 1 more. Reach, and pull. Hold. Take your left leg out. Now draw your right knee into the ball. Push into the ball, and then switch. And press into the ball, and switch. And press into the ball, and switch, and press into the ball. Good. I want to see like a sense, like you're almost like moving through molasses, like there's a deep internal sense of resistance that you're creating. Good. 2 more. And last one. Nice. And then go ahead and take a little pause, take a little rest. Now our hamstring pull 1, we're going to take the right leg up, reach the ball up towards the leg. So you have a couple of options. If your neck is bothering you, to do this, leave your head on the floor. You can also leave your knee bent and just think about pull from the knee. Otherwise the leg is going pull back. But more importantly, if you do have your head up, instead of doing this with my arms, I'm going to think of reach to my toe and switch. Reach to my toe. Yeah? So we've got a couple of options. We can either leave the knee bent and the head down and pull in, or we can leave the head down and pull in, or if we're bringing the head up, we're going to go lift and switch. Lift and switch. No change in the elbow, okay? So let's start with the right leg up, left leg out. Arms are reaching to the ceiling or down, whichever one you're doing. And we go up, switch, lift, switch, lift, switch, reach, switch. Good. Keep your elbows straight. Make it a rib cage isolation. You're lifting through the rib cage. Good. Beautiful. Keep your legs as straight as you can. If they're straight, then they're straight. Nice. If they're bent, then they're bent. That's fine. Gorgeous. Carrie, try and get that other leg down to the floor if you can. Push it into the floor. Yes, that's it, girl. Good job. Up, up. Betsy, straighten those legs. Come on. You're all wishing you had your cameras off right now. Good. And last one. And come down. Good. Bend your knees. Take a little pause. If you took Patty's class the other day, I'm really sorry that I'm doing this to you right now. That class looked super hard. She looked like she was killing you guys. Okay. So now you're going to take the ball and lift your hips up and place your ball right under your pelvis. Floating your knees up into tabletop. Give your nervous system a moment to realize that you're on this like super wobbly surface. So settle into it. Find your stability there, and then relax your hands on either side of the ball just to kind of help support you. And let's start with the legs up to the ceiling. You're going to turn the legs out, flex at the ankles, and then just open the legs out to the side. I'm going to have to move because I'm too close to my wall. And hopefully you guys can still see me. Good. So once you're there, you're just going to open your legs out to the side. And I want you to get that nice stretch through your inner thighs. Beautiful. Just hold that stretch for a moment. Wait for me there, I'm coming. So you have your legs in external rotation, your ankles are in flexion, dorsiflexion, so you're stretching through your hamstrings. Now you're gonna point your feet and draw your legs back together. Flex at the top and open. Point and draw back together. Reaching, lengthening, both as you open as well as you close. Draw back together. Let's just do a couple more. Open, stretch, and draw back together. One more. And open and draw back together. Now turn to parallel and take your right leg towards the floor as your left leg comes back. Try and really keep this sense that your legs are opening equal amounts to each other. So you're going to have to focus more on the leg that's coming back to you, because this is really what wants to happen is that. So you have to take the shape a little bit more back to you. And then double pulse and switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Switch. Let's do one more on each leg. So that's the left. Now the right. Now hold the right leg back. We're going to keep the right leg being the one that starts it, coming back towards you. So you've got right leg is towards your face right now. Left leg is reaching out away from you. Now you're going to draw a big, giant circle and then draw your right leg back towards you again. And then start the next one. Big circle around. Right leg comes to you again. Big circle around and right leg comes to you. Two more. Big circle around and right leg to you. And last one. Big circle around and right leg to you. Now switch so that the left leg comes back to you. And now the left leg is going to start it. So big windmill and scissor. Big windmill and left leg to you. Big circle around and left leg to you. Two more. Big circle around and left leg and last one. Now your right leg is to you. Let your left leg come to the floor. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. And then actively reach your left leg. So you're gonna float your left leg off the floor, and I want you to think about it as like an arrow, and you're gonna be reaching it nice and long. And then also on that left leg, squeezing your glutes. So I'm gonna do my right one for a second here so you can see what happens. So I could be here like this. This is a very passive hip flexor stretch. There's nothing wrong with it, but we wanna make it more of an active stretch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna engage the hip extensors. So you're gonna engage your glute and squeeze it and reach through that right leg as you pull the left leg in. So now it becomes a very active stretch. If that doesn't feel right for you for some reason and you want to just hang out here, that's fine. It's do what feels good for you. And pulling in. And a couple more deep breaths there in there. Try and really think about your breath as filling into the space there in the front of the hip joint. So you're kind of just focusing on creating some breath and some oxygen into that area there, opening it up, and then switch. I might have lost track just a little bit. Engage that glute if you're making it an active stretch. And the more you pull this opposite knee into, the bigger that will make that stretch as well, because you're creating more opposition between those two joints. A couple more deep breaths in. And last one. And now bring the knees back into the chest. I'm going to take the legs up towards the ceiling and prepare for our rollovers. So if you're not going to do rollovers, you can just go back to pelvic curls. So you remember the pelvic curls, you'll just do that instead. Otherwise, the ball is under your pelvis. You're going to begin with the legs in tabletop, extend them out to a 45-degree angle, and begin your first rollover. So we go inhale to 90 degrees at the hip joint, and then you're going to roll over and then flex the feet, open shoulder distance apart, and if you can bring the toes to the floor, great. If not, that's okay too. And then roll back down, place the sacrum back down on top of the ball, point the feet, and then just kind of arc the legs back together. So we go inhale to 90 at the hip joint, exhale, use the abdominals to roll over. So now I'm still at a 90-degree angle at my hip joint here. Flex, open, and then closing the hip joint to come down. And then rolling back down one vertebra at a time. Point and circle back together. Again, inhale to 90. Exhale, use the abdominals to roll over. Flex, open, tip the toes to the floor if you can. And then roll back down. Just two more. Point the feet and come down. And two more, you guys, at your own pace. Roll over. Good. Flex, touch, and come down. Good. And last one. Big deep breath in, coming into 90 degrees at the hip joint. Find your abdominals to roll over, not just leveraging the legs. And then rolling back down. Beautiful. All right. Coming down with your feet on the floor. Take the ball out from underneath you and then roll to your side so that you're facing me. Actually, not on your side. My bad. We're not done with the abdominals quite yet. We're going to do this first. So take your ball and place it behind your back. We don't want it real low on the back. We want it right about where, your bra strap is. So if it's too difficult there, move it up higher, kind of closer to your neck. This is going to be easier the higher it is, okay? But there's diminishing returns at some point. Like we don't want to have it so low that the effort is more in the lower back. We want the effort more in the mid back. So just because I say it's easier going up higher doesn't mean that it's going to be, you know, better going lower. So just be aware of that, because sometimes I feel like some people will do that. They'll go way too low and then it ends up being a lumbar, too much lumbar movement. We want that movement coming from what we call the thoracolumbar junction, which is more in the middle to upper spine. So bring your hands behind your head, and then I'm going to turn this way so I can still see you guys, because when I face the other way, I can't see you. Okay, cool. So hands are behind the head. And we're going to start with just going back over the ball for a stretch through the abdominals. Feel that length of those fibers. And then as you exhale, coming up into that chest lift. Going through whatever range of motion feels good to you. Inhale, going back. Exhale, coming up. We're going to do 10 of these. So here's 3. And exhale. Play with like how deep of a range of motion you want to do. Usually takes me about 3 repetitions to feel like my body starts to accept this. The first one is always like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. And exhale. Do 5 more. Inhaling, stretch. Exhaling up. And 4 more. All the while keeping the hips and pelvis nice and stable. Last 2. And 1 more. We're going to keep this sequence pretty short and sweet here. So I want you to try to float your left leg up. We're going to add our oblique with a toe tap here. So you're going to go back, and as you go back, bring your left toes towards the floor. And then as you come up, you're going to rotate your right shoulder towards your left knee. You go inhale to stretch everything away from each other, and then exhale, come up and draw across. And inhale, go back, and exhale, come up. Again, inhale, go back, and exhale, come up. Good. Inhale, go back. Exhale, come up, across. Lead more with your shoulder and your rib cage rather than your elbow. So don't think about your elbow coming to your knee. Think about your shoulder and your chest coming towards your knee. Good. Nice. Much better. And last one. Good. Now come to center. Keep that leg up for a second. Come to center. Hold there and see if you can change legs but staying lifted. So switch your legs. Beautiful. Hold right there. Now we'll go back, reaching everything away from each other. Good. Don't straighten the leg, Carrie. Just keep the knee bent, lower from your hip joint. Good. And then come up and rotate towards that knee. There we go. Good. And go back. And rotating towards the other knee. Exhale. Inhale, reaching away. And exhale, rotate. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, rotate. Let's do 3 more. Last 2. 1 more. Now keep the leg there. Rotate the chest back to center. Float the left leg up if you can. Stay nice and lifted, and we're going to do some leg changes here. So if it's available to you, you're just going to stay lifted. Otherwise, you can take a break if you want. And we're going to go exhale, exhale, exhale. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the legs up, reach the arms long, hold, 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 and then bring your hands behind your legs and float up. Good. Now, take the ball and place it out by your feet, and you're gonna extend your legs out long with your bottom leg on top of the ball at your ankle. So just your bottom leg, your top leg will be free. And then you're gonna extend your body out nice and long in a straight line. Good. Externally rotate your top leg. You can kickstand your top hand in front of you. And you're gonna bring that the top leg up. Doesn't matter, I don't care which one. I'm gonna say right, but you can do whatever leg you want. Then flex and draw that leg down. So we're gonna reach it up, reach it up, reach it up, flex and draw it down. Think of the leg as extending and reaching away from the hip joint and down. Now, if you want a little more balance challenge, you can take this other hand off the floor. It definitely makes it harder to balance, and you might not get quite as much range of motion with that leg. And one more, going up and down. Now hold here. Now we're gonna add a passe. So we go up, draw the knee, the toe up the inside of the knee, and then extend, and then flex and come down. So we draw in, reach up, flex and pull down. 3 more. In and up. And last 2. And up. And 1 more. Now grab that ball with the ankles. Try and minimize as much extraneous movement as possible. And then take the other arm and reach it nice and long alongside of your body, or leave it there, whichever one. With this top hip, really stretch and reach it as if you're kind of trying to touch the wall out in front of you. So let that hip come up, hike it up, and then stretch and reach it. So your waistline is gonna shorten on the top side, and now it's gonna lengthen on the top side, and it's gonna lift off the bottom side. Let's do 1 more like that. And now keep that sense that that leg is reaching, that top leg is really reaching long, and then try and float both legs up off the floor without letting the bottom side of your waistline just collapse. So we're still maintaining length through the underside. So it's not about height, it's about length. Reach, 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 reach the legs as if you're made of taffy and somebody's pulling you. And 1 more. And reach. Now hold at the top there. See if you can find your balance and give that ball a squeeze. And squeeze. And squeeze. And 2 more. And 1 more. And then bring it down. Hug your knees in. Take your ball and take your top leg and place it on top of the ball with a bent knee. You can let your foot come on the ground. Actually, take your foot off the ground. Stretch your bottom leg out nice and long. And then I am going to kickstand here just so I can stay balanced. I want you to push your top leg into the ball, your top knee, and then float your bottom knee up, or your bottom leg up. So as this leg pushes down, that leg lifts up. So you're pressing and lifting, and push and lift. And 2 more, push down, lift up, and 1 more, push down and lift up, hold, 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 lift a little higher, take that hand off the floor, hold, lift a little higher, and bring it down. Grab that ball, swing around to meet me in mermaid position. So the ball will come onto the side where you have the knee bent in front. So for me, that's my left knee right now. Doesn't matter which one, just when you came up, whatever knee was bent, leave it bent in front, okay? So don't switch your legs. Take your ball and very little pressure on the ball. You're just gonna press it out. And as you do so, reach that other arm over and then come back up. And exhale, reach, and inhale up. And exhale, reach over, and inhale, lift tall, and exhale, reach over. Now hold here. See if you can, if possible, flip your palm on that bottom arm and raise your bottom arm up towards your top arm and bring it down. And raise it up and bring it down. And two more. Raise it up and bring it down. And one more. Raise it up. Now place it back down. Bring this arm straight out to the side and rotate towards the ball. And then come back up and lift. And we go over, inhale. Now, think about your chest as extending forward, almost like you've got like this beautiful brooch on or necklace on, and you want to show it off to the world as you rotate, lifting forward. And then come back and come center. And one more time, go over, and now reach your chest forward, reach it forward, reach it forward. Keep that other hip feeling like it's staying down. And then stay here and reach out into that stretch and come up. And two more, reach out, extend and reach. And come up, and one more. And reach out. And come up, and now open the arm out to the side and come up. Go ahead and switch your legs. So now you're gonna face the other way and place the ball at your feet with your top leg or your bottom leg on top of the ball. Externally rotate that top leg and lifting the leg up, inhale. And exhale down. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, pull down. Inhale, lift. Woo, I'm falling all over the place. Down, two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down, and last one. Inhale, reach up and down, keeping your hips nice and still. And now passe. Bend the knee in, extend it to the ceiling, and flex and pull down. Bending in, reaching up and down. Three more, bending in, reaching up and down. And one, I lost count. Let's do one more after this one. Good. I swear I can't talk and do at the same time. It's like part of my brain goes to sleep when I try to. Now hold there. Now take the ball between your ankles. So let's start with those hip hikes first. So let your hip come up, shorten that waistline on the top side, and then elongate the waistline. And let the hip hike up, and then reach it out. And let it come up, and reach it out. And two more. And reach. And last one. And now hold that length, reach that leg, parallel legs, so try not to be in turnout, and watch your feet don't sickle. Keep your feet nice and neutral, and lifting the legs up and down, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower. Two more, lift. Now hold your last one, hold it there, stretch long through the legs. If you want to bring your arm up, go ahead and do so, and squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Think of both legs squeezing, not just the top or the bottom, but squeeze them towards each other. And one more, and hold, lift a little higher, engage a little deeper, reach a little longer, and bring it down. Go ahead and bring both legs in. Keep your bottom knee bent And bring, I'm sorry, your top knee bent. Knew something didn't feel right. So top knee comes up and bottom leg extends nice and long. Press that top leg into the ball as you lift the bottom leg up and down. And press and lift. And press and lift. And I'm still reaching my bottom leg long, not just focusing on the up part. And one more, hold, 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 lift, lift, lift. Reach that arm up, hold, press a little further or press a little harder down with that top leg and come in. Go ahead and bring both knees in, lift up. Now your bottom leg should be bent. So I think I might have cued you wrong on the other side when I said whatever leg was bent in front, it actually switches. So my bad, sorry. Hopefully you did as I said and not as I did, or did as I did and not as I said. Okay, so now the leg that is bent in front is the one where the ball goes, okay? So you should be going in the opposite direction now. So we're gonna go over to the side and stretch and then come up. And exhale. I promise you, I haven't started drinking the wine before class. I know it might seem like it, but I haven't. And 3 more. And going over and coming up. And resisting that the hip doesn't come with you. We're trying to keep the hip down as much as possible. And 1 more. And go over. Now hold. Find a place where you can stabilize and just hold there. Flip that bottom palm. And if you can, bring this arm up to meet it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 more and 5. Now bring that arm down. Place the palm back on the ball. Stretch over. Good. And come up. Bring this arm out to the side. And now we're gonna go you're gonna go over and now rotate towards the ball and then come back up and lift. And go over and rotate, lifting that chest forward and come back and up. 3 more. And rotate, think of the chest as expanding forward and back. And 2 more. And lift and back. And 1 more. And we go over. And now stay in the rotation. Place both hands on the ball if you can. And extend out, stretch. And then come up. And exhale, reach out and come up. All the while, think of keeping the chest nice and lifted. And let's do 1 more going out, reach out, and then come back up. Release that arms to the side and come back. Good. Place your ball now under your right foot and lie back down on the floor. So your right foot is on top of the ball. Your left foot is on the floor. But your feet are in line with one another as if you had your feet on the same surface, but one foot is up on the ball. Hands are down by your side. So instead now of curling the pelvis, we're just going to lift straight up and down. So you're just going to lift up and come down. And lift up and come down. And all of those same cues that I was giving you earlier about making sure that the effort is coming from the back of the leg, I want you to still be thinking about that. So don't be trying to lift super high if it means that your back is arching a lot. I want you to keep the feeling that the pelvis is being pulled into that posterior tilt. So we go up and down. And yes, I switched sides on you. Sorry about that. I can see you guys better this way. Now, you're going to keep your left foot or your right foot still on the ball. And then I want you to float your other leg up off the ball. So now you're in this single leg or single hip lift here. And then you're going to tip the toes down and exhale, lift. And inhale, tip down and exhale, lift. And tip down and exhale, lift. Beautiful. 2 more. Try and have your foot flat on top of the ball, not digging with your heels, not digging with your toes if possible. And by all means, if the ball is causing you a lot of grief, just ditch it, get rid of it. Who cares? Just keep going. And then put that foot down and transfer to the other foot. So now you're going to switch legs. You guys look fantastic, by the way. Good. Somebody's thing is not muted, but I'm just going to mute you all. Aha, there it was. Okay, there was one camera that wasn't muted. Okay, so now we've got the foot on the other side and lifting the hips up. Find that posterior tilt. Find those hamstrings and glutes and floating the other leg up and tipping the toes down and lifting up. And inhale as we lower, exhale as we lift. Inhale as we lower, exhale as we lift. Maintaining the same angle of the knee joint, so the movement is just coming from the hip joint. So we've got hip flexion, hip extension. 2 more. Hip flexion, and last one. And then float that foot down. Place both feet on the ball. This is a little extra challenge. So if your hamstrings are already like screaming at you, just put your feet on the floor. But Betsy's here and we got to do this one for Betsy, right? So lift up, hold at the top here, and you're going to do some kind of modified hamstring curls. So you're going to extend the legs out a little bit, not a lot, and then pull in as like hug them in as close to you as you can. Press out and then hug, 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 hug. And press out and hug in. Now, once you get the hang of that and you feel like you're really supported in your trunk here and you're not doing this from your low back, but the legs are what's working, see if you can challenge yourself to go out even further and pull in. And press out even further and pull in. And 2 more, and press out even further, and pull in, and 1 more. Now, extra bonus points, see if you can come onto releve, so you're on the toes, and lift your hips even higher, and hold there, and hold, and hold, and hold, and squeeze those inner thighs together, and lower down. Woo! Do you guys feel your hamstrings? Yes? No? Maybe so? Draw your right leg in, hug it in, and switch to the other side. Oh my goodness, I felt mine. All right. Grab these evil round objects and let's turn over onto our tummies. So laying on your stomach, you're going to take the ball out in front of you. Nice long line of the body. Place the hands on top of the ball with your elbows gently bent. Forehead relaxed. And then you're just going to do a really gentle little baby lift, just a little bit. My arms are not straight and locked. I'm not lifting a lot. In fact, I'm hardly putting any weight at all in the ball. I'm just kind of using it as a point of leverage to lift a little higher and then come back down. And inhale as we lift. And then exhale as you lower. 1 more time. Inhale as you lift. And exhale as you lower. Now we're gonna revisit that, but first we're gonna kind of work the hip extensors a little bit more. So take the ball between your ankles, bent knees, rest your forehead on the backs of your hands and think about drawing the abdominals in off the floor and then tightening your seat. So engage your abs and your glutes. Squeeze that ball gently and try and float your knees off the floor a little bit and then come down. If that doesn't feel good to your back to lift your knees off the floor, don't. Just engage the inner thighs, squeeze the ball, and leave your knees on the ground. But if you can, see if you can feel your glutes working to lift your legs off the floor. And it's not about getting really high if it means that you lost the connection of the abdominals. So really focus on the abs working still. And one more. Now, if it's available to you, try and keep your knees off the ground and then see if you can extend your legs out, still squeezing the ball and still keeping your knees extended or your knees lifted. And then bend, 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 bend back in. So extending out, reaching out, reaching out. Good. And then bending back in. Good. And just like when we were doing that double leg stretch, still feel like you're activating in both directions. You're not just straightening and bending the knees, but you're reaching and lengthening and extending. Nice. And let's do two more. Reaching, 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 reaching. And last one. And then we're going to hold the legs long. Hold the legs there. And then squeeze the ball for 5, 4, reach a little longer, 2, and 1. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Hold right there. Okay, now bring the ball back into your hands again. And use that sense of the legs and the abdominals and the backs of the legs working when you go to do the lifts again with the upper body. So take the legs a little wider. Abdominals are lifted. Engage your glutes to support and help stabilize and protect your low back. And then now, if you want to lift higher, go ahead and do that as you pull the ball in towards you. Again, I'm not putting a ton of pressure in the ball, but I'm leveraging it a little bit. And inhale as we lift, inhaling, and then exhale as we lower. And inhale as we lift. And my legs are still energetically working. My abdominals are still working. Now hold the last one. Hold it there. Draw the ball in a little bit to you and press it away. Draw it in and press it away. And 2 more, draw it in and press away. And 1 more, draw it in and press away. Go ahead and release down. Shake your hips out. Come onto all fours. And then come into a rest pose. Good. Okay. One more little challenge here, and then we're going to stretch. So place the ball under your ankles. So not under your feet, but right under your ankles. And then come onto your elbows. So you have a couple of options here. Actually, we're all going to do the first option, and then you can layer on if you want. So we're going to start off just on the elbows and knees, and then all you're going to do is try and lift your knees up and then come back down. So it's just starting with that, just lifting the knees up and coming back down. 3 more like that, lifting the knees up and coming back down. One more, just lifting the knees for now. Good. Now, you can either stay with that, what you just did, or if you want an added challenge, you can add a pike to that. So we lift the knees up, and then we roll the ball in, and then roll it back out. Rolling in, and rolling back out. Just 3 more like that. Rolling in to lift the hips. Good. And back out. You guys are amazing. Good. And one more. And lift, 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 lift. Yes. And come down. Gorgeous. Good job. All right. Meet me on all fours. We're going to do a little stretch here without the ball. A couple of stretches. So first, I want you to just sit back up towards your heels if you can. And then take your rib cage over to the right, or whatever's facing towards the camera, that's fine. And then just stretch that opposite arm. So the one that's furthest from the camera, really stretch it out and around. So you're opening up and lengthening through that whole lateral side of your spine there. Take some deep breaths. And then let's switch to the other side. So take your torso away from me and then reach that arm that's closest to me and really extend it away. Good. Now come on to all fours. And take your spine into a nice rounded shape. So find that C curve. Let your head go. Shake it out. Shake it yes. Shake it no. Let it bobble. And then arching the chest forward. And curling. And arching. Now go into that curl shape. And in the spirit of round things, which is kind of the theme of the class with the ball, we're going to make a circular pattern with our spine. So you're in this nice round kind of Halloween cat shape, and you're going to take your tailbone to one side, take your head to the same side, and then just draw a nice big giant circle with your head and your tailbone going around. Don't overthink it. Don't get inside your head. Just close your eyes and think of drawing a big, giant circle with your head and a circle with your tailbone. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's watching. Just make it some, whatever motion feels good. And then meet me back in that top position there, and we're going to reverse direction. Now make giant circles going the other way. Inhaling and exhaling. This nice big round shape. And last one. And then coming back to center. Sit back on your heels one more time. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And slowly come to sitting, stacking the spine up one vertebra at a time. Do some big shoulder rolls, inhaling and exhaling. And let's do a few neck rolls. And reverse. And last one. Good job, you guys.
Yay.
Thank you. I went over, not surprisingly. Yeah. I went.
Dominique, that was wonderful.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're
It was
welcome.
fun.
Great.
Wonderful.
So fun. It's so weird. It's so weird to teach like this because I can't hear you guys. And normally, like, your breathing is like such a big part of, like, you know what I mean? Like everybody breathing together, but like it's like this, like inside of a vacuum. It's like I can't hear anything. So I'm like,
hear us groaning.
yeah, are they there? I don't know. Yeah, like, I'm like, I can tell, like, am I pushing too hard by the sounds that you guys make? Or, and my eyesight is so bad. Like, you guys, I can see you tiny, but like, I can't really see from across the room. And so I'm like reading your expressions,
You okay?
and eyes rolling in the back of the head. Like, are they bored? Are they glazing over?
I can't see either, so your cueing's great. Otherwise, it would be really hard to follow.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It was really good.
I see Marcy has her glass of wine already.
Hey, Marcy.
I love it. Cheers, Marcy.
I gotta go.
Dominique.
Hey. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
See ya.
welcome. You're welcome.
It's a little early still on the wine for me, so.
Oh, well, whatever.
I'm going to join you right now.
Anytime after 4 is good.
I'm gonna come to
Early in the face.
I went over